Hello, and welcome to Data to Go, a video series created by NTT Data's Data and Intelligence team, where we'll be sharing insights from the world of data strategy, data modernization, business analytics, and intelligent automation. Join us over a cup of coffee as we explore the exciting world of data. Today, I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Malini, as well as our guest, Vin No, to discuss having careers in data. Vin, thanks for joining us today. Could you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and some of your experiences in the data field?
First off, I want to take some time to thank the team here, to include Jacob, Malini, and Satyam. That's really given me the opportunity to provide some insight to the rest of the firm. But to answer your question, so immediately after college, I was not only focused on really finding my niche within the workforce, but also opportunities for me to continuously grow as a professional. So although my background originally began within the public sector, I continuously look for opportunities that really gave me exposure to other fields and disciplines. Therefore, as a crime analyst, I was officially introduced to the world of data and the endless possibilities as far as how we as an entity can leverage the data to support key business decisions. And this was through the insights that we gathered. And so what I really learned from this initial experience is that data can really be leveraged across all industries and even your personal facets of life. And after working as a crime analyst for City of Charlotte, I really wanted to further expand my knowledge as a data-related disciplines to include data architecture, data governance, machine learning, and so that NTT Data really provided me that channel for me to build out my career. And so therefore, I kicked off my NTT journey as a brand new consultant back in 2019. And immediately after that, I started as a data analyst on a project supporting a top 5 US bank. Keeping the same mindset, I did have the great opportunity to help support multiple projects as a solutions architect, a database administrator, data engineer, and finally a project manager, and really constantly building upon what I learned from the previous projects. And so for newcomers, you really need to be flexible, which will allow you to further build upon your skill set, but also truly find your niche at the end of the day, project by project. Through close mentorship and my ability to execute, my eagerness to grow, I really was able to gain the trust of my peers and also the clients, which have led me to where I am today.
Thanks, Vin, for filling us in on some of your experiences. So kind of going off what you'd already mentioned, coming from the perspective of someone who's pretty early in their career as a data professional, navigating the different pathways that one can possibly pursue often feels pretty daunting. So in your own career, how did you handle positioning yourself to be in the right place and ensuring that you had the right skills, were learning the right skills, and you were keeping up with the trends of the data world?
To really position yourself effectively in the dynamic field of data consulting, right, I would recommend prioritizing the following, and one of those being continuous learning. So as a consultant, we need to stay updated on industry trends, tools, and any technologies. The way that I kind of stay engaged is via online courses, attend certain workshops. If there's opportunity for you to obtain a certification, I would also try to pursue that as well. But even just enrolling in a social media platform, whether it's some type of publication or LinkedIn, for example, just to stay up to date on those new trends. Alongside continuous learning, I would also say, within NTT, we always emphasize networking. So build a strong relationship, professional network within the data consulting community. And that goes to the point as far as attending any of the conferences, any of the forums, any of the town halls that some of our channels offer, right? And last but not least, third point here that I want to call is project diversity. In most cases, as a brand new consultant, you may have no say or maybe little say in your first engagement. And so as you guys kind of expand upon your skill set, as you guys are also being aligned to new projects, I would also recommend that you try to look for diverse projects, meaning that, this projects will include not just a data analyst, right? We're expecting to see data analyst, data engineer, solutions architect, but not even on the data side, right? It's always good to have a connection with the consulting branch or arm. And so you also want to be able to build a relationship with the business aspect. And so all this is to say, find a project that's going to give you the exposure to multiple players. And that way you can kind of, like I mentioned, build out your skill set, but also find your niche.
Yeah, then those are some great points, about just kind of finding the right niche and, learning the right skills. One thing I'm curious about is I'm sure over the years, different technologies have changed, certifications have come out, your career paths may change, person to person. In your experience, I'm curious if there's a focus on new technologies or new certifications or completely different career paths today versus when you first started out in the data field.
So trends in data consulting, from my perspective, as they stand today, are really centered around certain technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, and data analytics. As far as certifications, things like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud are highly in demand right now, along with more domain-specific certifications like data science and business intelligence. As far as career paths that really align to these new trends, there's a really heavy emphasis on roles such as data engineering, data scientists, and cloud architecture. And all this is to say, as a consulting though, or a consultant, soft skills are always at high demand. So your ability to effectively communicate is also going to position you better versus someone that is maybe a little bit shy there, right? As far as the topics that we're seeing now that's really exploded, if I can put it in that terminology, I would refer to with the advent of artificial intelligence, right? So there has been major advancements in narrow intelligence and general intelligence. If you are not familiar with the different stages, there are technically 3 stages of artificial intelligence. And so narrow intelligence being also coined as weak intelligence. And there's general intelligence, and then there is sentient intelligence, where we accomplish self-awareness, right? So some examples do include voice automation with Alexa. You may have Alexa in your living room right now, to more complex models to include Midjourney or Deep Dream Generator. Within recent publications that I have found and read through, the industry is actually expected to achieve roughly 48% of the capabilities offered through stage 2, which is general intelligence. And so AI is actually expected to account for a $144 billion industry by 2026. And so with these recent advancements in big data, computing power, data storage, data availability, and cloud computing, the industry has made great progress towards achieving that super intelligence or sentient modeling. I can talk about AI all day, but as far as some additional trends that I am also aware of and seeing within my actual practices and also within my projects is the rise of edge computing. So with the growth of edge computing, data processing will now actually be closer to the data source. And so data professionals need to be aware of this, and they need to be able to adapt your skills to handle decentralized data architectures. Edge computing is all about processing data closer to where it's being generated. And this will actually allow us to process at greater speeds, greater volumes, but also to retrieve the data in real time. And then last but not least, within my current engagement, as a prime example, there is also a heavy focus on hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And so organizations may adopt hybrid multi-cloud strategies. And so data professionals will need to be able to handle, or if not have the expertise in managing and extracting these insights from diverse cloud environments. And so as many industries are looking to move away from their on-prem legacy environments into the cloud, they're going to be in a state of flux as far as making that transition, right? So our ability to kind of adapt to that and be able to handle this hybrid environment is going to be something in high demand in the near future.
Thanks, Vin. So given that you've seen the industry change and you've kind of touched on this point a little bit in your previous points, and that you've been able to navigate it successfully, how do you see the industry changing in the coming years, and how do you think it's going to affect the way that we as data professionals operate on a day-to-day basis?
So the data consulting industry is likely to see obviously an increase in demand as orgs continue to prioritize data-driven decision-making. Trends, like I mentioned earlier, such as the growing importance of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and even ethical data processing may shape the industry. With that said, as a data consultant, right, we need to be able to adapt by acquiring those new skills and also in those emerging technologies, but also stay informed about any new regulations that also come down the line.
Awesome. Thanks, Finn. One last question for you before we wrap things up. And it's a question I've asked you many a time, but do you have any last minute advice for anyone who's looking to enter the career in the data field or people who are just entering it?
And so for anyone that has spoken to me as far as some tips and tricks on how to, be effective as a consultant, I always say, be a sponge. And what I mean by that is really stay curious and learn continuously. As we know, data is constantly evolving rapidly. And so we need to embrace some type of mindset of continuous learning to stay updated on these emerging technologies as it relates to data consulting. Alongside that, everyone needs to focus also on building a strong foundation. So if you need to go ahead and develop a solid understanding of some basic fundamental concepts, take the time to take those trainings, those courses, read up, and do the actual exercises. This really will kind of serve as the platform to kind of put you in those positions that you want to align yourself to. And obviously, as a consultant, communication is always key. So as data consultants, we often need to convey complex insights to maybe non-technical stakeholders. And so the ability to hone your communication skills to translate those into technical terms that offer like clear insight is going to be beneficial to you at the end of the day.
Awesome, Vin. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check back in for our upcoming episodes for more data insights. Sip by sip. Cheers.